morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are at. I hope you had a fantastic day. It's SoulSaint here, and we got a lot of news regarding the new anniversary event that's coming up. That's right, 6 years in the making. And we also have a good breakdown about some of the stuff that's coming up, including our new Fusion champion coming up for this month. All right, before we get into all the breaking news, I want to kind of give you guys a heads up that March 5th is going to be the end of basically everything Alice in Wonderland, or basically everything that's orchestrated over there. But following that exact same time frame, we're going to be jumping into anniversary mode. So expect on March 5th to all the way up until like the 31st, basically the entire month, we're going to have a gift in game. So it's going to be a 5-day login experience if I'm going to take a guess at it, as well as like a loading page. There's going to be like a puzzle that's going to allow us to have a little bit of information regarding an invitation to the anniversary event. So basically what I was told is that there's going to be a puzzle mechanic that will be available to all players. This goal is to arrange the pieces in a correct order and get some nice rewards. So whatever that is, I'll have it in the description below for the link for you guys to be able to do it and use it and take a quick little gander at that if you're interested. But also, not to forget to mention, we have on the page of stuff, I don't know if you see him like right there, we have Fabian. Fabian's going to be our new Fusion champion, and we're going to go ahead and break him down. So, with that being said, I want to give you guys a quick heads up. He is going to be an undead legendary support champion. You'll be able to acquire him through a traditional fusion. That means that it's not fragments. You collect fragments along the way. No, it's going to be, you're going to get like maybe rares or epics to develop, which will then be used to develop into getting Fabian himself. So basically your traditional standpoint. Think Mikage. You know, you take a bunch of champions to rank up and fuse into one champion, and then you rank those up to fuse into Mikage. The exact same premise. Anyways, with that being said, let's break it down. Service and Death is A1. Attacks one enemy 2 times. Each hit steals 10% of the target's turn meter. Places a true debuff for 2 turns if the target's turn meter is fully depleted. So it seems like he's going to be pretty interested in fearing opponents throughout the fight. That's going to be pretty interesting. I'm also going to take a guess that there may be some more punishing effects, because from what I was told, he is basically going to be all about control. And that's what he's designed for. Unwelcome Guest. His A2 is on a 4-turn cooldown, bookable down to a 3-turn cooldown. Attacks one enemy, places a petrification debuff for 1 turn. Has a 75% chance of placing a True Fear debuff for 2 turns on all other enemies who are not under a Fear or True Fear debuff. He also has a passive effect on this A2. Activates this skill whenever an enemy under a Fear or True Fear debuff successfully uses the skill. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. So, this is kind of busted. I'm just going to say it like this. Okay, you got champions now in the game that can not only strip but place the fear initially, right? If they try to get their turn and they are able to get it successfully, then he comes in and basically petrifies them and places true fears on everybody else. That's nuts. I'm just going to say that now. It's nuts. And it's bookable to 100% chance too as well, so that's pretty interesting. Spectral Flourish is A3. It's a 5-turn cooldown, bookable down to a 4-turn cooldown. Attacks all enemies. Before attacking, has a 75% chance, bookable up to 100, of decreasing the duration of all enemy buffs by 3 turns. Okay, so we have another buff strip champion, or pseudo buff strip. It's not defined as buff strip, it's just buff duration decrease, which is very important to kind of note for effects like Polymorph. Polymorph would be triggered on buff strip. Buff duration decrease, which is like what Marius does, for example, does not trigger poly. So very big W there. Has a 75% chance of increasing the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns on top of that. In the same ability? So not only is he able to remove buffs, he's also able to lock out the enemy team, and then grants an extra turn if there are no buffs on the enemy team after this attack. What? Okay, so you open up A3, buff strip. And because you successfully removed all buffs, now you get an extra turn proc. You also lock out the entire enemy team in terms of skills for 3 turns. And then you follow up with an A2 to completely petrify one target. So maybe like you have a enemy team that has like 1 mythic and then a bunch of legendaries. Well, you buff strip, you lock them out, and then you get your extra turn. You petrify the mythic because they can flip, right? And then everybody else is kind of like dead in the water, available for you to punish. That's nuts. That's nuts. Okay, all in one ability too. Wow. All right, his passive, Ghost with the Most. Yeah, I like that. Whenever an enemy is revived, place a True Fear debuff on that enemy for 2 turns. Okay. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, this effect will only activate once. So where could be like revival be a big issue? Okay, maybe you're going against a Sun Wukong who likes to pop back up. Immediately proccing a True Fear on them would prevent them from getting value out of the Sun Wukong. Maybe reviving after the fact, like a lot of revivers like Siffy, for example, gives like with 100% turn meter. Automatically putting a True Fear could punish that, making that entire experience irrelevant. Same thing with like Galathier and some other champions where they're able to revive with decent amount of turn meter and then they're back into the fight, right? This right here is another layer of like they got to get lucky in order to pass it. And even then, with True Fear being in play, as long as they're under it and they're successfully able to get a skill, he's gonna proc his 8 too. So that's really good cohesiveness. And then removes any stun, freeze, sleep, provoke, fear, True Fear, and petrification debuffs from this champion before the start of their turn. You can't CC lock this guy. All right, that's a good bit. Increases ally speed in all battles by 19%. Not bad at all. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I think this guy is gonna be another contender for one of the more annoying champions to go against. And if I had to take a guess, I would say he's gonna be pretty established pretty early on. And maybe even partnered with other champions, he could be ridiculous. I mean, we just got Queen of Hearts, for example, which I feel like could be a really good combo with him. Some people like to cope and shout out to those people, but they were talking about the lines of like maybe using a Fortis who actually benefits from Fears being in play. All that kind of would be interesting. I think Fortis is a bit of a stretch, but being able to play around True Fear being a big prominent core of your team's utility, their capabilities makes that a very, very strong, how do you say it? Like a very, very strong experience. Maybe that's the word I'm looking for. And I'll be honest with you guys, I wasn't expecting that. Particularly the big value out of this champion is going to be his A3. Being able to do so much in one ability, all it takes is one turn, and that kind of looks really interesting. All right, I'm going to go ahead and disappear here, and I want you guys to take a look at our champion for this time. I want to do a quick turnaround on him so you guys get a little bit of an idea of what he looks like. He is really, really cool looking. I mean, I love like the blazing, frosty, like ghost-like hair, kind of like just trailing behind him. I think that looks really, really cool. The Death Staff, the Scythe Staff, I guess you want to call it, is pretty normal. It's pretty average. But then you have the elegance of his entire look. I mean, I think this guy looks pretty awesome if you ask me. He looks like someone that is very how would you say it? Prestige. Maybe someone who is of royalty. And I haven't had a chance to read the lore fully, but I would say that it kind of is on par and on pace with it. And I feel like this is a really nice little like look to him. I like the little what is it, like a knife blade that he has on his hip too as well. It's kind of cool. Yo, you guys gotta let me know what y'all think. Are y'all excited for all the events that are gonna be coming up? I mean, this is just the start of it. I mean, we haven't had any announcements in terms of anything else that's gonna be big or coming around the line. So I feel like this could be a really cool opener towards it. We got gifts that are gonna be coming on the way starting tomorrow. Or today as of the time of this recording when it drops. We got information on Fabian when he's coming out. If you guys don't know, I believe he is going to be available on March 10th to start that fusion. It's going to be traditional. So we're going to be pretty busy going into these next couple days. I would caution that if you haven't seen my previous video about the upcoming summoning events this round, I think it's even more justifiable for you to start saving up because this is going to be a really good champion to get your hands on. Anyways, with that being said, guys, you guys let me know if you guys are going to participate in any of these events. I am, for sure. I'm going to go in for Fabian. I think that's going to be a great fusion champion to get a hold of. But you guys let me know in the comments, how do you think about his kit? What do you think about his design? I think so far so good. You know, not too bad, not too bad. Anyways, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and as always remember, stay ascended.